Good morning, everyone. This is Alexander of InvestGlass. Thank you very much for attending this very special Getting Started with InvestGlass. Today, we will show you all InvestGlass tricks to successfully launch your CRM if you're a bank, if you're a broker, a family office, or even if you're a polo club. Well, today we're going to start first with, as you know, a little disclaimer. InvestGlass and presenters are not investment advisors, brokers, and dealers, and we do not participate to any type of offer, sale, distribution of securities. Nor do we provide any investment advice. So what you're going to see today is only for educational purpose. So let's dive into the CRM topics. These documents will be distributed at the end. In fact, a more detailed one will be distributed at the end. So don't worry, you don't need to take screenshots or photos of it. You'll get it at the end. So the first step when you start a CRM is to define the key players. This is extremely important because a CRM is obviously a tool and it has to be a joyful tool that you're going to use every day. So you must make sure who is going to use it, why they're going to use it, and what is going to be each of your roles. So first, I think we have four types of roles. The first type is executive champions. So champions are, I would say, the first testers. Usually they are nerds. Well, nerds means that they are into all the computer stuff. And they are going to be able to test, look at the different options of the product. It's very important to very quickly set those champions to make sure that the pre-launch phase is going to be successful. Then you have business process specialists. Usually they are chief operating officers, chief digital officers, head of project, head of change management, and their roles are going to be to change the process. Obviously, step by step. I stress this step by step concept. We're not here to make a revolution, but an evolution into the practices you have. Again, the CRM has to be something joyful. Then you have administrators. Administrators usually are head of security, head of architectures, and their roles is going to be quite simple, is to make sure that InvestGlass is configured properly, to make sure that the architecture is compliant, and make sure also that everyone sees what they are entitled to see. So those roles are extremely important and they have to be, I would say, into the loop of the CRM setup very, very early on. Then you have data analysts. Usually data analysts are the brains behind the import and export of data. They're also the people in charge of reporting. Once you identify those four roles, you're ready for the next step. So next is, what are you going to do with Investless? As some of you here today, you've been using Investlast for some of you, in fact, 4 years. And Investlast has been growing with different tools to automate your sales cycles. All tools are not going to be needed based on what you want to achieve with your CRM. And obviously, what you see on this screen are Investlast's main features, but you also have the other fintech or the other solution that you can connect to the Investlast platform that are not here. So to prevent to be overwhelmed, my suggestion is to start pointing which widgets are the most important. So to go quickly into them, forms and surveys are here to nurture leads as well as update KYCs. The CRM, the client relationship management, is the tool where you're going to store all your different information from companies, from different objects like shirts, investments, portfolios, company names, individual names, trust. This is where you store all the information. PMS, it's Investlast legacy with the portfolio management system. OMS is the order management system. And here, for those that are into the banking world, we connect Investlast to different U-Link trading screens or different OMS if you wish to nurture the leads. The trades. Automation is to automate the KYC reviews the CRM reviews, integrations and APIs open InvestGlass to any type of other apps. This is the way that you can connect InvestGlass for card scanning, for example. Digital contract is a very important part of InvestGlass, is helping you to digitalize paper contracts into a form which can be signed then with different types of approved signature system, DocuSign, HelloSign, Connective, or even Swisscom. Rebalancing is a tool for portfolio management tool. So it's a very specific, it helps to rebalance a portfolio. Analytics produces reportings and will help you to navigate through all your data. And client web portal helps you to share information into the portal. So those are the different widgets, the main features, and obviously all those are not going to be needed. So it's important very quickly to discard those that are not needed and emphasis on those that you're going to work on big time. Then get the word out. I think it's very important that everyone knows that you're going to change your CRM. Once you started this process, make sure that everyone knows. Building a CRM process is quite simple, but you have to make sure that you do it in at least 3 stages. The first is the building phase, the pre-launch, where you're gonna gather all the different participants. Then you have the awareness phase. I think it's good to set a date. You know, is this awareness phase in 1 week, in 1 month, in 6 months? The reason for that is that, you know, changing a CRM, it's like changing a piece of art. You can paint and paint and paint for many days until you find, okay, that's the final brush, the final touch on my painting. So it's important, I think, to set a date for this awareness phase. And then you have the reinforcement phase. The reinforcement phase means that you're going to, after the launch, build some contest, make sure that the scoping is actually working, and I'll show you also how to do that. Then once you told everyone that you're going to change your CRM, it's important to define goals, to define your vision, and also define pain points. Frankly, if you don't set the goals and the pain points, visions, obviously, I'm sure you have it, but goals and pain points, if you don't set the goals and pain points, it's going to be extremely difficult to find if the CRM is actually working fine for you. A goal is, okay, I want to reduce my sales rep and compliance team work. How do I automate those tasks? Pain points. I see that when we have to do KYC reviews, we have to send so many forms and documents, we always forgot half of it, and there's a churn and the clients get frustrated. How do we make sure that this is automated? And very simply, how do I better track my my business? So this is extremely important. I will send you a document where you can actually have your team fill in their own goals, visions, and pain points. Like this, you can collect this information. But it's important to collect this information when you start the CRM deployment. Then create user experiences. As you know, Investless is not just like a simple CRM. We build it in a way that you can very easily connect your CRM to different features. We're trying to find the most, I would say, attractive features. Sometimes it's very frustrating because being in Switzerland, some of them are not Swiss compliant or even not GDPR compliant. So we are always here to advise you and help you into potential solutions you could connect into InvestGlass to build the perfect experience for leads, prospects, and clients. Here you see again 3 phases. It's not like 10 phases, it's 3 phases. Leads, prospect, qualified clients, reviewing and scoping clients. All right. For all of them, you will have different features, different widgets, different solutions that you may connect, because you want to have a face-to-face meeting with a client. You might use Zoom or GoToMeeting. Perhaps you may use Swisscom solution because you want to use a Swiss solution. For the leads, perhaps you're going to use the client portal, or maybe not. Maybe you're going to mix digital contracts with paper contracts. If you do mix both paper and digital, then it means that paper has to be scanned and sent back into Investlast system, and the account opening process has to be the same, compliant. So all those little stages and have to be, I would say, put down. I suggest you some tools like Draw.io, Lucid Charts, all those charts tools to build workflows. They're not difficult to use. Some of them are, in fact, are free to use, and it will be a very nice way to make sure that there's no blind spots into your existing workflows. Then it's important to set who sees what. Without getting too much into the details, InvestGlass has a pre-built system of hierarchy and role-based. This system is going to be upgraded in the coming month to offer you organization-wide and single access to information. So who sees what? Well, basically, because of the CRM, you're going to put some substantial and some confidential, perhaps, information. It is important that you make sure that it's the right people seeing the right information, or even worse, that the right people changing the right information in the right time, and they are entitled to do it. So the who sees what is a very important part. Usually this part is set up by the administrators and the security department. If you don't have obviously a security department, then it's just the administrator. I will show you how to set up this into InvestGlass. Well, this is a first taste of the fields and the value sets. And this is the step that is after checking who sees what, is what type of information you want to store into InvestGlass. But those that are here for a long time, I see some of you like from Greece or in the UK in the list today. You've been using InvestGlass for many years. I know that you were expecting to see some fields specific for English clients and fields in Greece, in Greek. Well, this is now possible with InvestGlass customizable CRM. So you can set up the fields and the value sets. So a field is going to be, for example, first name, last name, account number, tax number, polo club affiliation, and the value sets are going to be a list of countries, a list of clubs, a list of securities, for example. It is very helpful for example, you in Greece, you always told me, well, you know, Alexander, the first country in the value set starts from Afghanistan. Yes, because it's the first in the value sets. Well, now you can create your own value set, and the first name on the top of the list can be Greece, then United Kingdom, France, and all the rest of the countries based on the client usage and account opening usage you have. This screen is extremely important when you set up InvestGlass, and there are many options in terms of visibility, as you can see here. We will do a special administrator webinar in the coming weeks to explain you how to use this create, read, update, and delete. It's quite, I would say, complex if you're not used to that. The good thing about InvestGlass is we try to make it simple. So by default, those are the field level security and accessibility you will find into your fields. Now, those fields can be seen in different places, and those widgets, those features that we see at the beginning, you know, into the circle, can be seen in different places. So to make sure that we use the same wording, we built these little schemes, these little images, where we define where to find what. So on the top left, you have navbar. The navbar is the navigation menu where you will find all the different links to different main pages of InvestGlass. This can be also used to connect the main pages if you're using a third-party portfolio management tool or even another CRM. You could have all connected thanks to the navbar links. The app widgets, the one in the middle, are those little apps that you can nest into the portal of your colleagues as well as the client portal. And this is very nice because it will help you to customize an experience with different widgets based on the different journeys that you want to offer. It's also a nice way to make sure that your colleagues are going to nurture the CRM from the main page and not from the shortcuts like the one that you might know, that is the favorite quick links on the top right here. So the favorite quick links helps to, the name is self-explanatory, but it will pop up the right feature very quickly without going into the app. This is very interesting. For example, if you wish to set up a quick link to monitoring for the head of a team, and you don't want your head of monitoring or your head of sales to look into my account, company, then monitoring. Okay, so this helps to prevent 2-3 clicks before you actually reach the page or the monitor that you want to look at. Then you have the main body model and the main body full screen. Those main body model iframe and full screen helps to nest Investlast iframe as well as third-party applications into Investlast. And as you see, the result is either you have a model on iframe, which means that you can constrain height and width, or it's a full screen, and then it's the full screen. Obviously, here it's on a computer, but the full screen will be the full screen of a telephone if it's a small phone. Then into the CRM. As you see here, we have 3 types of layouts. We have the horizontal navigation menu on the left, the nav bar. We have the tabs, and then we have the categories. So when you create the fields that we've seen just before here, you will have the possibility to define the tabs and to define the field categories, and this will automatically be presented in a very nice fashion into your CRM. It's quite simple. You just have to make sure where you want to put them. Then you start deploying and empower your teams. It's very important when you start a new solution that you do 3 things. First, to assess your team satisfaction. Because if they are frustrated, it doesn't mean that Investlast is a bad tool. It doesn't mean that the fintech or the third-party application you put is a bad tool. Perhaps it's because the usage has been not thought well enough. And perhaps there's too many clicks. Perhaps the information is clunky or not well presented. So it's very important on a frequency of a week, then a month, or even 2 months to assess the user satisfactions to make sure that everyone enjoy using InvestGlass. Then you have to motivate and reward users. There's nothing more boring than using a CRM. And trust me, I love CRMs. But you have to motivate them. And how you get to motivate them? Well, is to show them where the information is blimping, where the information is lightning, and to show them how they are doing a great job based on their eyes focusing on one specific field. The specific field can be the return on assets, it can be the net new money, it can be an estimated value of the prospect that has been fulfilled. It's an objective. And then you motivate them with little games. And this will be also a topic of another webinar to show you how to motivate with those little, I would say, flashing, blimping lights. Then third element, it's very important to support users. So obviously, you know, Investlast is here. We have, I hope, an amazing customer service. But for some of you, because you have Investlast nested into your bank infrastructure, you have a different support user, and you might have a different customer interactions too. It is very important that you produce, or we help you produce, films, webinars, and contents to interact in a joyful way with your users. There's nothing more frustrating than being blocked on the screen and having no one to answer. So make sure that when you use Investlast, and particularly if you use Investlast into your own premise on your own server, that you have thought about the support for those users. Okay, so now enough. Let's dive into Investlast. Okay. So today for this little presentation, I decided to show you this mock-up company. So that's not a real company, okay? West Oak is a fake company. This is a fake website of, I would say, a retail or private bank or broker, where I nested few stuff we're going to play with, okay? So the first step we're going to do is we're going to fill in a form, okay? What you're going to see now, it's an Investless form, okay? Few things I'm going to show you, partly for those that are already using forms, is the new upgrades of forms. So first, as you find here, we can put a background image or a background color. Here, I decided to have this little bluish greenish color to map with this tennis court behind. This can be set up from Investless. Then I'm going to put here a name and full name and last name. And we add a new feature that is very nice. It's hiding questions. If I click on yes, do you want to be contacted by email? You see here, there's a new question showing up. So that's quite handy. The new stuff I want to show you here into forms is the possibility to add long descriptions and to nest those descriptions into some set limited boxes, and also the possibility to add a third-party app such as Calendly. But here, if I want to jump directly and you find that the questions could be too complex, we added another feature, which is the jump. So here, I'm not sure. Can someone help me, please? If I click on, can I speak with your team? Boom, it goes to this page, okay? So this is extremely handy. Those new features, hide and jump. Okay, so now the information is being sent directly to the CRM. On the white browser, I'm going to show you the results. So obviously you receive a notification via email. And here I found the answers of Maria Lafont. Okay, so this is perfect if you want to use Investlast iframe and forms to nurture new leads, as well as to answer new questions or compliance questions. So here on the white screen, which is the screen from your team, okay, we're going to find the answers here, and into the documents, I'm going to find here the document that has been generated that I can download, but also, as you know, that I can ask to be signed with a verification method. We have two types of verification methods with InvestGlass. The first one is the basic approval, and the other one is the one with a third-party app. The reason for that is that you might have customer identifiable information, and based off your country, if you are in France, in the UK, in Panama, you might be using a different types of digital signature provider. So this is how you would actually select it and trigger the signature of this new document. Now, let's dive into more about the setup. Otherwise, I'm going to show you the whole InvestGlass. And you know, I love the product, so it's difficult to stop me at that point. All right, so if I go to my account company, as you find here, we're going to first start with the app setup, all right? The app setup is something that is quite important because this is where you will set up your app visibility. The app visibility will be for two types of visibility. The visibility of your own colleagues and the visibility of your clients or prospects. Note that this can also be used. So if you want to use, for example, an app, or you want to entertain a client with an app, or entertain, I would say, a prospect with an app before it actually becomes a client, this is what I would suggest you to do, to use the app and offer client portal access. To show you about the client portal access and show you where those apps will be presented, on the client, on the company, on the user view, it will be on app, as we're going to find here. Okay, so we're going to have access to those different applications here on the main menu. If you set up for your client portal, first you have to set up this into edit settings and set up here the portal access with a username or an email. Here I decided to go with a username. That is usually the method that is used by private banks, which means that you're going to receive, as a banker, 2 emails. The first is going to be your prospect or client's username, and the second is an email with the randomized password that you can change and that you can share with your clients. So once you've done that, let's show you, still we are focusing on the app, where the app will be presented. So I'll go back on westhawk.ch. Here I have my login page. And I'm going to access as a new client to the portal with the different apps that have been set up for me. Okay. So here I see different apps. Okay. I see Neuro Profiler here. I see Trading Central. This is a cool one where I can find all the latest financial videos. And to set up this portal, as well as to set up the different navigation menu, everything can be set up from My Account Company into the portal. So the apps will be here, the navigation menu will be there, and let me show you what it means for the navigation menu. Here I can decide to remove, for example, for a client segment institutional, the access to the portfolios or the access to the shared calendar. Save it, and now on the client portal, as you will find here, the different those 2 navigation menu links will disappear from the navigation bar on the top here, right? There are also very nice tricks I suggest you if you start using the portal. One is to be able to share some documents, so you can load the different documents into InvestGlass electronic depository system, and you can have them sign here with the digital signature tool, as well as having the client, very quickly downloading those documents. You can also add into Contact My Representative some widgets. Here, for example, this is Calendly, and this will be quite handy because it will help you to save time basically on the calendar, the meeting scheduling with your clients. What it means that the client can check into your calendar time slots that are still available and select his favorite time slots. And when the client has done that, a web conference link is going to be generated automatically. So you don't need to go to GoToMeeting or to Zoom or to another app to schedule a time slot. Calendly will do it automatically based on your client's schedule time. Okay, and this link will then be sent to you and will be visible obviously into your own calendar page into Investlast. Then favorites, it's the links that we see here on the top I can add new links. Here you see I removed the new contact because I don't want my colleagues to be able to create new contacts directly from the favorites. I want them to create the contacts from the little widgets I created for this purpose. Okay, now I just activated it. Right. Now let's dive into the fields and into the tags. Why am I going to talk about fields and tags? As some of you know, tags was the main feature of Investlast for the past, I would say nearly 5 years, 6 years now. It was the way to create fields that were not into the CRM. I know it was slightly clunky, but we had no choice. Now we have the choice. We have the choice not to use the tag anymore or to use the tag for special purposes. So what is a tag? A tag is, as you find here, a little wording that will set the suitability or that will set the preferences of a client. My suggestion, now that we have a flexible CRM, is to use the tags with only marketing objectives. My second suggestion is to use the tags only in a limited fashion. So prevent long list of tags. So take a long list of tags is a list like this. You see advisory, marketing, thematics. I have more than 10. Who is going to remember more than 10 tags? No one. I would suggest you to limit at maximum a list of 5 tags and to use those tags for marketing purposes or filtering purposes. Let me show you a filtering purpose of using tag. Here, I'm going to click on actions and then I'm going to click on related securities. So what Investlast is going to show is all securities that are that have similar tags with the clients. Now, obviously, I can refine this. I can check only with securities that are suitable for distribution. And I can also here add some more tags. So if I just want to see, for example, securities that will be Sharia acceptable, I can filter and see those securities and then engage a conversation with the client based on this investment thematic. This is how I would use the tags. You can obviously use the tags with more flexibilities, but this is what I would suggest you to do. Then into the CRM, we split it recently details and suitability. Before it used to be KYC details, and now it's details, and we extruded, we removed the suitability part because the suitability part is flexible and can change from one company to another and based on your purposes, whereas the details is the core of the CRM. Into the CRM, as you find here, I can set the different tabs and the different categories, okay? So a tab is, for example, a mandate, a category, it will be accounts. And then below, I can set up different options. I can set up a value list, a value set of information I'm expecting to see. I can also add some little information help desk, help tags like this. Okay. And I can also set up the mandatory fields to see which fields should be filled, all right? It is quite important to set up those missing fields or these mandatory fields, and I'll show you how to do that. Also, it's important because when you have users filling in the CRM with this mandatory system, they can very quickly then check which fields should be filled in. So edit details, if I click on show mandatory, you see Investlast will screen and restrict only to the fields that are mandatory. So the team will focus on that list. All right, so how do we, so now that we talked about tags and I strongly advise you to limit the tags, let's look into the fields. So you go back to My Account and Company, and then you go down to Custom Fields. Now into Custom Fields, you will find different objects. For now, we have two objects, contacts and relations. Soon we'll have also securities. Securities are objects, goods that you sell. It can be bonds, equities, shirts, shoes, coins, bitcoins, cryptos, you name it. But for now, we have two objects into this presentation, contacts and relations. Contacts are prospects, clients. Relations are a group of prospects, clients. For the users that have been using Investlast for previously to last month, you will have all those fields. For those that are using Investlast only for a few days, this system could be empty. And if you want to have those fields, just let us know. We'll load what we call packages. So this is a quite important new feature of Investlast is package. Package is a list of fields and rules that match your business lines, your business processes. So if you're a private bank, if you're a retail bank, if you're a broker in Greece, if you're a crypto broker in London, you will have different requirements. You will have different needs. And to make sure that those fields are loaded quickly, we will use those packages. It's also a very nice way if you're a private bank and you have external asset managers and you want to distribute Investlast to your partners or to your clients, we can set up the CRM with preset fields. It's also interesting for one of you here. I see you have a community of wealth managers. Well, now you can have those fields preset based for your own community of wealth managers based on the regulation that you have to obey with FINMA. Now, let's look at a field and see how this looks like. So obviously to create a new field, action new field. So let's look at a field. Okay. So a field now has a field name API. Obviously, you can use Investlast API to connect it to any type of other solution or other type of portfolio management tool. The API is flexible, and we use GraphQL also for that. Now, you have a field label, which is the name that you're going to show on the CRM. You have the field category. You have the field detail tab. And then you have different options. The first is the value sets. Okay, I can select the value sets. I can also create my own value sets. Here you see it's the value sets I told you about. It's a short value sets of countries. I can decide the style. You see you have different styles, drop down, multiple options, text field, number, text area, toggle. And I can set if the field is mandatory and if I want to be able to search this field into the opportunity view list, which is your sales pipeline. We also added this field level security classification. The first one here is the public, internal, confidential, restricted, mission critical. This will help you when you're a chief security officer to extract very quickly the list of fields that you have to filter. The same for the field usage. If you want to hide a field, or if you want to have a field that is depreciated, then this is how you would do it. And last but not least, we also have now a classification from California Consumer Privacy Act to the CIDPII, GDPR. This is where you'll be able to set up the fields. Now, what is on our roadmap is the possibility to edit those create, read, and update and delete in a way that a user can have more rights that is currently the default of Investlast. Obviously, it's very handy to have the default because you don't need to set up everything here. But at a later stage, you'll have the possibility to change that. I'll just tell you this, like this you have it in mind when you set up Investlast today. Now, the value sets are here, and the value sets is, as you see, just simply countries list, if I decide a countries list, a list of vineyards, regions, or polo clubs that I've created here. All right. So this is the basic setup of the CRM. Obviously, all those fields can be mapped into the different features, such as forms. This is a topic of another webinar we will organize later on. So you've seen the very basic setup of InvestGlass. There are multiple options in terms of layout. I forgot to tell you that. Obviously, we have seen West Oak. This is possible because you can set up all the different background colors and background images, as well as disclaimers. Those disclaimers and footers can be set also by region. So for each region of employees, you can have those different specificities based on their local regulators. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this webinar of InvestGlass. If you have any questions, obviously let us know. You can contact us here. We have this little widget intercom where you can contact us or send us an email. We'll be happy to guide you through this InvestGlass CRM platform. Have a lovely day. Good luck for the coming weeks, and we look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye-bye.